We begin with developing news this morning as thousands of Arkansans recover from a deadly and destructive weekend.
This isn't what I expected when I imagined myself riding Bentonville, the self-proclaimed mountain bike capital of the world. Sometimes you get more than what you bargained for, and although this holds true in terms of the storm, it also held true with my experience riding there. Just like many of you, I've watched a ton of videos from a bunch of different creators, all about the trails in Bentonville. As I flew across the country, I had mixed feelings about the trip. I was truly conflicted. On one hand, I was anticipating meeting some of those creators and the thrill of riding somewhere I've never been before. There's nothing like going down a trail and not knowing what's coming next. However, on the other hand, I really love riding steep, fast, janky trails that go on for miles. Bentonville does not have much elevation loss. I'm also not a huge fan of jumping, and it's basically a jumper's paradise. I knew I'd have fun riding bikes for a few days, but I really didn't expect how much this trip would change me.
Dude, it's right on, like, finally meet you in person.
Yeah,
in the real.
And we're about to just go ride some sick trails.
Right?
I've had Evan on the Biker Bar podcast a few times, and he offered to show me around Kohler Mountain Bike Preserve. Just getting to the trails was my first glimpse of how different things are in Bentonville. Back in California, we have a lot of elevation on our trails, except it takes me 30 to 45 minutes of driving to get to the closest ones. In Bentonville, I could be on the trails in less than 2 minutes from the house. Although not every house is this close to the trail, the overall feeling that I had riding around town is the trail network is everywhere. It's truly unbelievable the amount of infrastructure that's in place to fully embrace cycling in this city. It reminds you of that movie quote, "If you build it, they will come." Because as you ride around, you realize it's not just a small niche of people that's riding, but the majority of the community. It's truly impressive, and at the same time, makes you wish your town was like this too. As Evan pedaled me through Kohler, we passed the coffee shop that I've seen on so many videos. I felt almost starstruck, like being on the location of a favorite movie. We made our way over to the hub, and it's just unlike anything I've ever seen riding before. Any other trail network has a sign at the top of the hill, pointing different directions. Bentonville has a mountain biker jungle gym that spits you out in multiple directions. The hub and its similar counterpart, the castle at Slaughter Pen, seem to be the icing on the cake that takes an already fun trail system to a whole other level that really stands out in your memory. Most of the trails I rode while there were a mix of well-manicured berms and tabletop jumps that forced me to embrace jumping regardless of my aversion for them. Bentonville continuously kept me outside of my comfort zone.
I think the problem is like I want to like crawl down it, and I know I can. I have to just commit up here.
And just like that, another skill's unlocked.
Real YouTuber coming through.
Whoa. It's my twin brother, y'all.
What's up?
The only other sexy guy on YouTube with a beard. I don't know. Evan's mountain bike saga is pretty dreamy.
That sounds. I feel like I'm probably the least sexy one of us all, but the one with the biggest movies.
Well, see, and that plays into the sex appeal. So don't rule that out.
A big thanks to Evan for watching me think about this roll-in for what seemed like an eternity.
Yeah.
Then I didn't have to look like a chump when I rode it with Bobo. It's funny how something can intimidate you so much, but then as soon as you do it, it immediately goes into the "this doesn't scare me at all" bucket. As I mentioned before, most of the trails are super manicured, and my personal preference is the more natural feeling ones. There are a few of them sprinkled in here and there, but for the most part, Bentonville is more of a huge bike park or pump track on steroids than somewhere you'll leave talking about how technical the trails were. But the one thing it has in spades, unlike anywhere I've ever been, is progression. This is one of those things I complain about at home. There's either a little baby drop that you won't think twice about, or a 15-foot gap. Bentonville has short trails that are super easy to lap and immediately give you another try. Unlike where I typically ride, and a lap is another 20 to 40 minute climb. The short climbs and manicured jump lines may not be what I'm accustomed to, but the constant dopamine hit followed by a climb that's over before you can even get mad about is something I truly cherished while riding in Bentonville.
Oh, I should have hit that. I'm going back.
Things are built so well, you can't help but try things that may feel out of your comfort zone. The constant win of conquering small demons reinforces the will to battle the next one.
Oh my God. I don't even like looking at it.
This is drop the hammer.
You said how long?
4 months.
To get ready to do it?
Yeah, it's like once you look over the edge, it's kind of a far distance.
Yeah.
So it like really, it's pretty intimidating.
Yeah.
But once you do it, it just unlocks so much potential.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Right on. What was the thing that made you want to do it? Like, finally?
It was just like eating a hole in my soul. I was like, I gotta do this thing.
Yeah.
I gotta check it off my box. And it almost like legitimized like my riding to myself.
Yeah.
So,
Makes sense.
yeah.
Of course, there will be things that are completely outside of what you're willing to try.
Yeah, not a fan. Ooh, I don't even want to get close to the edge.
However, there are plenty of other opportunities, so you don't dwell on the things that you passed up. For instance, I love watching Berm Creek, and I was totally fanboying being on Seth's trail.
Oh, it's the Sicknick table. That's really cool.
I get super nervous on drops that are on a decline, but the win I had back at the hub with Evan gave me the courage and the confidence that the entrance to the trail was totally in my wheelhouse. When I rode the Masterpiece, it was like I was right there with Seth. Well, except for the part where I cased the whole thing. It's such a short trail, you can try over and over and over again. And if that doesn't work, it doesn't matter. There's always next time.
2, 3, foot down.
One of the cool things about going to a fest like this is bumping into some of your favorite creators. Even for me, it's fun to catch them out in the wild doing their thing. Don't hesitate to say hi and tell us about your favorite video.
Hey, Heather. I really liked your rock roll video. That was really good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Got me stoked. I was like, now I want to go do some rock rolls.
That was a crazy, I've lived out there for so long and seen that one, and I would always avoid going that way.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, these people are going to make me do
Yeah,
it. I don't want to do it.
One way or another, I wouldn't hesitate to tell somebody to go to Bentonville to ride. It won't blow your mind with long techie descents, but it'll be fun. If you want to add some value to your trip, go during the Bentonville Bike Fest. I normally go to Sedona Mountain Bike Fest every year. And as I made my way through the Bentonville Fest, my first thought was, it's much bigger than I expected. When I go to Sea Otter, it's so big, it's a little overwhelming. However, at the Bentonville Bike Fest, there's the right amount of vendors and a lot of different things going on to spectate or to participate in. I feel safe saying that the Bentonville Bike Fest is the East Coast Sedona. It's that fest that once you go the first time, you'll end up wanting to go every year. Unfortunately, this year a tornado also wanted to swing by the festival, and it laid havoc on all the vendors' booths. The festival was canceled on its last day, and the entire city had downed trees and power lines everywhere. I don't have any spectacular footage of the storm because I'm one of those guys that just slept through the whole thing. But as we drove over to the festival, it was apparent that this was something major. The positive side to this is, odds are highly unlikely that the fest ever gets hit again. So in the future, if you want to dodge a tornado, go to Bentonville during the Bike Fest. Joking aside, I had a great time at the festival, and despite the storm, it was a memorable trip. Heading to Bentonville and stimulating the local economy will undoubtedly help the city bounce back from this unfortunate event. But if you can't make the trip and you want to help, you can donate at BentonCountyReliefFund.com. As I got on the plane and headed back home, I reflected on how this trip was far from what I anticipated. Even though the self-proclaimed mountain bike capital of the world is quite a stretch, I did leave with great memories and some newfound skill set that I didn't show up with. In my eyes, that's a win. Thank you, Bentonville, for showing me a great time with great people while riding bikes on some really fun trails. Oh, and in case you forgot,
It only takes a bike to be a biker. Get out and be one.